Hi everyone, how are you doing today? For the last several years, I have been stuck in my room writing a novel about two veterans returning from war. It is currently called Bull Run, that's just the working title, but it kind of delves into some deep areas. When I started it, it was just humorous or silly, kind of all the funny times that happen, the jokes, the ridiculousness, none of the anxiety, darkness, and sadness. So a friend of mine read it and he pushed me to go further. And I did, and I went a little too far and went a little too dark. And I got trapped in a certain place, which was not a good place to be. Dug my way out of that and finally came up with a story that I think is worth sharing. I'm not entirely sure, you might disagree, but I would like to share it. And it's taken me years to get here. I am not a writer by trade. This is something that was a part of me and felt that it just needed to be said. And I hope I say it somewhat well. It might be bad in parts. And that's why I'm approaching you to share it, to build on it, and maybe create something more than just simply words on a page. Part of me loves the idea of what they're doing in crypto. I know that causes a lot of people to cringe because it's scammy. But there is some really cool stuff there in terms of owning early documents, joining really strong communities, and it's just a fun space to experiment in. So that's what I like to do. I like to have you participate in the creation of this story. Maybe at some point we sell NFTs to hire an editor, and that end product is shipped to you for free with an author signature. Maybe as for fun we airdrop or send you copies of edited pages as a collector's item. Obviously some people think this is just kind of ridiculous, the whole crypto take, and that's fine. I would still encourage you to like and share and follow anything we produce here, and definitely send us your email address so we can keep you in the loop. But the truth of the matter is it's just a story, and it's a story that I hope might help you or help some other people either reconnect or understand. Our country spent 15, 20 years at war. Many people spent their entire young adult life either facing combat or preparing combat. So I just try to capture all of that in this story and wrestle with what it's like to come back. I have a full elevator pitch I will gladly share with you at the end. But for now, let's just keep it simple and say two veterans who come back to war have a hard time really reintegrating with society. And in order to escape, the two of them link up in Spain with a nod to Hemingway, and go on their own little journey for the running of the bulls and whatnot. It is not trying to replicate or borrow too heavily from Hemingway, but I think he is a master and he's heavily influenced how people view soldiers and masculinity after war, and basically we're going to provide our own take on that. So anyway, there are funny parts, but before we can get to the light, we have to get to the dark. What I like to do for you now is to read the prologue. This is the only combat scene. The rest of the story just takes place in more modern times. And it's short, and we'll post it. Links will be below. I hope I enunciate and I do a good enough job. And I hope you enjoy. So thank you. So the prologue. Haditha, Iraq, 2006. Moonlight flooded the alley. Shadows grew 10 feet tall. Towering wraiths bolted across fluorescent walls. Too bright, muttered a voice. Fuck it, came the grizzled reply. 8 men increased their pace and rushed their target, a compound surrounded by rubble and garbage. Austin hit the wall first. Hunt slid in line behind him. The rest followed without a word. Pressed close, stacked together, sweaty and armored, they swiveled their guns and crept towards the door. Gravel crackled under their boots. Tactical gear rustled from their shuffle. Hunt chuckled under his breath as he read Austin's new patch. Watch out for the idiot behind me. Breaching charges set, the unit commander gave the green light. Metal and wood shattered into pieces. Blast waves battered helmets and eardrums. Same as the last time, and the countless times before that. Another 4th century, another blow to the brain, another thud to the skull. Hunt shook it off. He readied his weapon. The men flooded into the empty space. Austin charged first through the shattered entrance. The best, most aggressive, always went first. His rifle picked a corner and swept to the center of the room when he stepped on a blanket and froze. His face contorted as if he stepped on a mine. Hunt scoured the cracked walls, the concrete floor, the drop ceiling, searching for wires, switches, any sort of sign. An insurgent fired 2 rounds. The first round struck Austin's armor. The second tore apart his neck. Blood splattered Hunt's stubble chin, and he whipped his rifle around, eliminating the threat. Room cleared, Hunt dropped to his knees. He helped the others hold Austin down, pinning him to the ground as he thrashed on the floor. They struggled to give him aid. Trachea gone, a gory black hole spat and sputtered. Endless purple waves gushed from deep within. Austin seized Hunt's hand, his grip strong. Men worked quickly, coaching, radioing, praying. Target secure, 2 mams pucked in the back room. No feathers, 1 eagle down, status expectant, 1 EKIA. More pressure, raise his arm. Circling the drain, we'll get through this. Come on. Gauze, pressure, radio. Nothing could repair that core. Austin's grip loosened. Hunt clasped his hand tighter, told him to hang on. Austin smiled, and the panic in his eyes subsided. The smile vanished. Everyone paused and everyone listened. All was quiet, and all was calm. Hunt stared at his friend, the life in his eyes now gone. He squeezed the hand one last time and lowered it to the blood-drenched floor. They cared for the corpse, cleaned it, wrapped it, and carried it to the truck. There, over the body still warm, Hunt slid a fresh magazine into his weapon and re-entered their enemy's house. Crumpled under a set of broken stairs, Austin's killer lay lifeless. Blood slithered on the ground from the holes in his head. A death grin plastered to the insurgent's long, crooked face. But there was no laughter, only screams. The blanket by the door squirmed and bulged as something writhed, wailing underneath. Hunt craned his neck and aimed his rifle as he cautiously raised the fabric. A baby's hand shot out. Hunt tossed the blanket and scooped the baby in his arms. He took one look around him and howled. She took one look at him and howled. Not sure what to do, Hunt cradled her close and rocked her, speaking softly as he tried to calm her. But she screamed, and the screams pierced his ears as her flailing limbs hit him on the cheek and chin. It became too much, cradling innocence surrounded by slaughter. He handed her off. He had a job to finish. He checked his weapon, slammed the bolt home, and ducked under a low header as he entered a side room. Flaking paint covered dilapidated walls. Shadows danced and flickered as a single light bulb swayed from an electric wire. Video cameras, rusty pliers, and power tools were laid out across a rusty picnic table. Remnants of a tortured victim, a hand and a foot, were in a bucket on the floor. Against the wall was a metal shelving unit covered by a plastic tarp. Bomb parts, clean, organized, and neatly labeled, lined the shelves, along with IED manuals, printouts, and 3 laptops. Next to the shelves were 2 captured insurgents guarded by Hunt's teammates. The teammates took the laptops and left. Wrists tied, heads bowed, the two prisoners waited on their knees. Hunt yanked off their hood. There was no pleading in this war, no crying. Restrained tears filled unblinking eyes on both sides. He raised his weapon and fired. Job done, magazine empty. Hunt made it as far as the compound's entrance when nausea swept over him. Weak-kneed and off-balance, he wavered and caught himself before falling. Using the wall to hold himself up, he looked over his shoulder at the dead insurgent with a crooked smile and stared a good long while at his handiwork. Back at the fob, locked in the high bay, drunk on whiskey and beer, Hunt went outside to piss. There, minutes before dawn, an invisible hand forced him to ground. He collapsed to his knees and pressed his hands into the dirt, and if he could have gone deeper, he would have gone, but there was nowhere left to go. He cried about his friend and wept outside the earshot of men. Wiping his face, he collected himself, stood in the darkness, and took out his satellite phone. He dialed the number he had dialed so many times before. Well, I hope that reading went okay. Moving forward, I will provide each chapter. I like reading it aloud because it just helps me hear the words. And I figured as part of this experiment, I would just post it and share it and just be utterly transparent. And hopefully that's an idea that you like and can get behind. So thank you again, and I will see you soon.